In this video, we're going to walk you through the top 5 most profitable vehicles in my Turo fleet. So remember, take this video with a little bit of caution because it all depends on the market you're in. You have to do your own research and analysis. You can watch other videos on YouTube to see what the most profitable cars on Turo are nationwide. I'm in the Pittsburgh area, and I'm going to walk you through my personal experience and my top 5 recommendations. But that doesn't mean these are going to be the best vehicles for your area, but I do recommend them from personal experience. Hey guys, it's George with Car Rental Coach. If you're looking to grow your Turo profits or to start your own rental car business like we have, make sure to click on the notification bell and subscribe so you never miss a new video. We consult with clients every single day and help them build passive income through car rentals while avoiding all of the obstacles we came across while doing this ourselves. We only take on so many clients at once, so if you want to see if you qualify to work with us, go to carrentalcoach.com and fill out the 60-second survey to see if we could be a good fit to help you grow your car fleet and maximize your profits. All right, now it's time to talk about the top 5 most profitable Turo cars that I've had in my fleet since I've started. So, number 1, a 2017 Mitsubishi Mirage. This car holds a special place in my heart. I'm just kidding, no car really holds a special place in my heart, but this was my first Turo car and my most profitable, so I had really good experiences with this one. So this car in the 2023 year, and it's still renting now in 2024, did over $11,000 in revenue, and I bought it for $6,000. So extremely profitable car, has already been paid for, low maintenance, no repairs, and is still on the road driving today. I was actually very worried about this car because my first trip ever was an 18-year-old driver. And, I met the guy, gave him the keys to the car at the dealership, and I could tell him and his buddy were going to party. So remember, when somebody rents your car, you're not able to tell them how far they can drive it. You can put on distance requirements or maximum miles, but they can still go over the maximum miles, and they're free to drive this car anywhere they want in the United States. So even if you don't want your car being driven for, thousands of miles, the guest still can, but you can charge them for it after. So I meet this guy, kind of a kid, him and his 18-year-old buddy. I asked them, just trying to fill them out. It was my first rental ever, so I was a little bit nervous too with what they were going to do with the vehicle. And said, what do you guys plan on doing with it? They said, oh yeah, just running some errands for my mom, going to the grocery store, things like that. And I was like, okay, I feel a little bit relieved. Well, I checked my tracker, and 2 days later, they are in Florida. So they took this car from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Keep that in mind. Drove it all the way to Florida. I didn't say anything to them because it's against Turo's terms and service to message the guest or dictate where they can take the car. And I was a little bit more of a control freak back then, so it went against every nerve of my body not to say something about them lying about where they were taking the car. But at the end of the day, that's the Turo game. They can rent your car and take it where they like, and that's what you do when you're on Turo. There's nothing you can do about it. That's just the business. So anyways, these guys bring the car back a week later. It's filled with sand. I didn't see them do the drop-off. I wasn't there for that, or I probably would have made a joke about the sand being in the car and, grocery store trips, because it didn't make any sense, right? If you're in Pittsburgh, we don't have sand. Unless you go to Lake Erie, that's probably the closest place you're going to find sand for a car. Looked at the car, was able to get a cleaning violation fee for at the time, I believe it was $250, and a smoking fee because these guys were smoking the ganja in the car too. Looked like they went on a high school senior trip in it, and that's what they did with my Mitsubishi Mirage. But I was so happy to see that this car ran perfectly after I drove it. The fluids were all there, no transmission issues, no engine problems. The car didn't need an alignment, and I actually ended up making an extra $400 because they went over their allowed trip mileage. So with the smoking fee, cleaning fee, and these guys going over the mileage that was allowed on Turo, I ended up making around an extra $800 on a trip that would have only brought me in $300. So the first trip ever, this car brought me in $1,100. So I was actually very thrilled, and since I got the smoking and cleaning fees from these guys, didn't really mind that they took it on their senior trip. But at the time, I was only 26 years old and a little bit scared because it was my first car, the only one I had in my fleet, and I was like, well, this one doesn't work well. I probably would have been discouraged and not bought another one. And I love Mitsubishi Mirages, 2017 and newer, and I try to buy those every chance I get and add them to my fleet. Another great thing about these cars, great on gas mileage. mileage. All the different models have different MPGs, but put it this way, these things are like golf carts and cars combined. It's like a subcompact vehicle that I don't like to drive because it has like no power at all, but it is extremely affordable on gas, and that's what people are looking for in the economy space, and especially in my market. And on top of that, super cheap to fix. Every Mitsubishi Mirage that's ever had an issue with us, which very few happen with these cars, it's like even if you blew an engine, you're going to get an engine for this at an extremely affordable rate compared to some other models. So even though I would never want to drive one of these cars personally because I like my big cars, I like Escalades and larger vehicles, I do recommend them for renting. They've been my most profitable cars by far, the least headaches. Great on gas, and they're on the road non-stop because people are really caring about gas prices. Even though these cars feel like you're driving a little go-kart, great on gas, and it comes down to how much they make. So can't say it enough, buy a Mitsubishi Mirage. And I always tell hosts that are starting out, you want to make sure your first car is a great buy. Why is that? Because if your first car isn't a great buy and you have problems and headaches, you're probably never going to scale and buy a second car. That first car is so important in this process because that's going to dictate whether you do the Turo business or not. There's a few guys I know that started, their first car ended up being a lemon. They didn't buy it right. They lost money and they put down Turo, so there's no money in the business and never wanted to do it again. That's why when you go to carrentalcoach.com and work with us, we'll help you source a vehicle, set it up, and do all that stuff so you make sure your first car is a winner. And the first car is the most important car when it comes to your Turo and car sharing journey. My second favorite car that I've had in my fleet, it's a party car. It's a Ford Fiesta. So the 2017 Ford Fiesta is also a subcompact car. It's an economy car, and I'm not going to lie, I've driven a lot of different vehicles in my life, BMWs, Mercedes, had a friend that had a Ferrari I got to drive before, but this car is actually pretty fun to drive. It's great on gas and has some pickup and go to it. It feels like you're driving a little sports car. Which I was so surprised when buying it and driving it for the first time that I actually enjoyed the ride. Maybe that's why they call it the Ford Fiesta. It's like a party every time you drive. Not that fun. Obviously like driving a Mercedes-Benz is a little bit better, but it's fun for an economy car. So that car has also done over $10,000 in 2023. Has had no issues, still on the road today in 2024. It's been completely paid off. I was able to source that one at only $5,000, and it's making a steady profit without any issues. And guests actually do comment that they enjoy the ride as much as I do. So compared to the Mitsubishi Mirage, this car is a little less good on fuel mileage, but still excellent when it comes to most other cars because of its small size, and I think it's a lot more fun to drive. Plus this car comes with Bluetooth, which is a big deal in the Turo industry. I can't tell you how many guests don't want to rent a vehicle at this point if they don't have Bluetooth, and you want to make sure they do have Bluetooth and not buy the accessories or the adapters to get Bluetooth, because those get stolen pretty often, at least in my market. But remember, I deal with economy cars, and I think that's just part of the market, and you're not going to turn somebody in for a $5 adapter, but it is more of a hassle and a headache to keep replacing them. So I do recommend the Ford Fiesta, especially the 2017 model if you can add one to your fleet. I've had no mechanical issues, just basic maintenance and everything else that every car is going to need. So right now we got a Mitsubishi Mirage 2017 and a Ford Fiesta 2017. Maybe 2017 was just a really good year for cars. I don't know, but this is my personal experience. These two have been huge money makers, and I'll buy this model and make every chance I get. My third favorite car on my Turo journey, it's my 2016 Hyundai Accent. So this car has been a real winner. Never had any issues since we've rented it. It rents consistently. It's bigger than the other two while also being very good on gas mileage. And it actually rents a few days a month more than the other two options. I would say the reason this one rents just slightly more is because of the legroom in the back. So the other cars, to be completely honest, if you're taller like I am, there's not much room to sit in the back. It's more of a two-person vehicle, but you can make 4 to 5 work if they're the right size people, I guess. I wouldn't want to sit in the back of a Mitsubishi Mirage or a Ford Fiesta, but a Hyundai Accent has great legroom, very spacious. And this car is brought in actually a little bit more than the other vehicles. Granted, this one was a little bit more expensive because it's just I don't want to say nicer car, just a larger car, but still recommend the Hyundai Accent. It has Bluetooth, great MPG, and it's a very smooth ride without many issues. All right, the fourth car on my list is a 2019 Nissan Versa. So Nissan Versas, I highly recommend. I've had 3 so far in my fleet. 1 got totaled. I still have 2 that are actively renting. The other one's a 2017 model. They rent great. This one is always rented. Great on gas. Has Bluetooth, at least in the model I have. And renters love it. I've driven the car. It drives very, what's the word? I would say it's a smooth ride. It doesn't have like the get up and go like the Ford Fiesta. The Mitsubishi Mirage, that one feels more like you're at a go-kart, I would say. It doesn't have much power at all. This one's more of a balanced ride. It drives like a larger vehicle, even though it's still a compact vehicle. And I highly recommend it. Great on miles per gallon. And again, this car has rented just as much as the other vehicles. So I love Nissan Versas. Nissan Sentras, on the other hand, you can find our one video. It's the top 5 worst vehicles that I've had with my Turo experience. I've had heating problems with them, cooling problems, and transmission. So I don't really recommend Sentras unless you're pricing them really great. But Versas, I've never had any issues with and think they're an outstanding car. And last but not least, since we're just talking about the top 5 most profitable, it's my other Mitsubishi Mirage. Surprise, surprise. So I can't stress it enough, I'm not sponsored by Mitsubishi. It may sound like I am. But these are the only cars that I've had, besides the other ones I named, where there weren't some issue with them along the way. Remember, I'm getting economy cars that are higher mileage, so those problems are to be expected because of the price I'm buying them at. And I do keep money in the bank in case anything does go wrong or I have to repair them, which I'm expecting some repairs because I'm still coming extremely under market value, even when fixing a transmission, engine problems, any of that, because of the way we source our vehicles. But still, if you're new to Turo or just don't want the headaches and don't have car connections like I do, these are the cars I would recommend when starting. Even if you have to pay a little bit more than you think you should, you're probably not going to have any headaches with them. One thing you might notice out of this car list, only one of them is American made. And as much as I love supporting America, I do not recommend American cars on Turo. I hate to say it. I've had Ford Explorers that have given me issues, Ford Fusions that have given me problems, Chevy Equinoxes that have blown engines. Every American made car I've had has given me some sort of issues. My best results have been with Mitsubishi, Hyundai, the rare Ford Fiesta, like I mentioned, that 2017 model I think is phenomenal, and Nissan. So if you're new into the Turo business, my 3 favorite brands are Hyundai, Nissan, and Mitsubishi. None of them are American made, but none of them have had issues, and they've all been extremely cheap for me to fix. So if you're just starting your business or looking to scale with something, and you're in an economy market like I am and not going after the luxury cars, those are my recommendations. And you may be able to find something that works better in your market, but like I said, these are recommendations I'm making based on my own personal experience and dealing with the headaches of the other cars. So do whatever is best for you when you do your market analysis, but keep these cars in mind. If you want to run a very profitable Turo business, these are some of the best cars you can purchase and rent on the platform. All cars can produce revenue, but not all cars will produce profit. Another important factor is what prices you purchase these cars for. And here's a way we can directly help you. We actually do the sourcing, negotiating, and purchase cars directly for your fleet and ship them to you, Turo ready. We have the best buyers in town who have been buying from car auctions for over 20 years, as well as utilizing other methods to source vehicles. So we're keen in getting the best cars for the lowest price possible and doing a very intense safety check and inspection. If you want to learn more about this and how we can source cars for you, or you're even just interested in coaching and guidance, go to carrentalcoach.com, take the 60-second survey to see if you qualify to work with us. If you want to know 6 ways to make money on the Turo platform, click here.